The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Okay, thank you for joining us today. My name is Victoria Hecht. I am the development manager with MedCai. Full disclosure, I got my real estate license in Maryland a few years ago. I always told people it was the best consumer education I ever received. And I say this because when it comes to real estate, what you don't know can hurt you. There is so much information in real estate that the average consumer is not aware of. Thankfully, we have as our guest today, Health Pro Realty Group. Health Pro is a commercial real estate brokerage based in Bethesda that specializes in medical and dental space for lease or purchase. And while we don't have time to unpack everything you need to know about buying or leasing medical property in the space of 30 minutes, we will dive into some helpful topics, including how to find the medical property best suited for your needs, what questions to ask before you rent, lease, or purchase, and what to watch out for before you sign on the dotted line. Our hope is that by the end of this webinar, you'll have a better grasp of how you can avoid costly mistakes in your real estate search, whether you have plans to open a new or second office, renew your current lease, or purchase new property. Our speaker today is Brian Perry. Brian is a military veteran. He is an Ironman triathlete, and he's now on his third career in commercial real estate. He spent 6 years in financial risk mitigation in New York prior to joining Health Pro Realty Group in 2020. Welcome, Brian. And I need everyone to know that our webinar is being recorded. Okay, take it away.
Thank you so much, Victoria, and thank you for being on here to give me some of your time today to kind of go over what we do at Health Pro and kind of my goal here is a few things. I want you to understand that you have a professional to represent you in any real estate, medical office type transaction, and that's at no cost to you. The second thing I want you to know is that the markets are dynamic. So there is a, as you know from 2020, there is a landlord market and there can be a tenant market, and there are a lot of nuances in between at each location, as you know if you've ever had a landlord. So we really try to illuminate and have you see the picture and get the best, be advisors to get you the best deal. So in this presentation, I'm going to focus 80% of healthcare professionals lease their medical office space. So that's really what we're going to focus on. And I've always said that it's really unfair for you to think while doing your job, running a practice, that you should also spend your time and energy to become a real estate expert. And frankly, it could have consequences financially and on your mental health to kind of try to do this on your own. So we work with you to try to be the best advisor we can. All right, negotiation deal terms. So these are, when we're on the phone with you having our first consultation, these are the first kind of things we're going to talk with you about. The rent. What rent are you paying? What is the market rent? And where's the gap, and what we can do in terms of that negotiation for either keeping you in your current place or moving you elsewhere. Free rent is an incentive given by the landlords to get you into a new space or to incentivize you to stay in your current space. So based on the market, we're going to take a look and see what incentives are fair for you. Tenant improvements. Sorry if that's a little cut off. Tenant improvements are literally money also given by the landlord to help you with the build out of your space. So even if you're not moving into a new space, we still want to try to negotiate some tenant improvement money so that if you need improvements in your current space, if you signed a long-term contract, you may want some some additional money to spruce up your space. The fourth thing there is escalations, and escalations are a premium that's put on each year. The average is about 3% escalation, and that's sometimes we can negotiate different things of negotiating less than 3% increases on your base rent each year. But one thing we always do tell clients is that budget with your base rent and expenses every year, budget 5%, and you should be in good shape. And speaking of, I was talking to a contractor that we work with, because we of course have a team of people, and I asked them what they wanted me to tell you guys on this webinar. And one thing they wanted us to tell you was that you want to work with a healthcare realtor. And part of the reason you want to do that is because when you're looking at tenant improvements, as we were just talking about it, the amount they give is really dependent for your concern on the shape of the space when you're moving into that space. So if there's electrical, plumbing, HVAC already there, the landlord is already trying to get the space ready for a quicker move-in, and that can also help with the timing of you moving into space if they've already prepared that. And it might be that because they've spent more time to get that space ready for you to move in, there'll be a little less TI, but it really depends on a number of factors and the space and the shape of the place, of the office space you're looking at. All right, so we're on lease renewal time. All right, so here your contract is almost up. It's time to get us involved to look over your contract and see where we can save money at no cost to your doctor. We know what to look for and what the market rent should be paying. So this is something we're going to look at, but there are other things that could be tens of thousands of dollars in savings before you even get to the rent. So we're going to look at what you need, what you're looking to improve upon in the space, because although you're in that space and the landlord may consider you, not going to move, because most tenants do not move, you still want to make sure that you are negotiating as if you would leave. All right, and this is the big thing here. Do not get squashed by a professional bully. And this is not to say that your property manager, landlord rep, they're bad people. They just don't have your particular interests at heart because they're not representing you in the transaction. And they know how to negotiate when you don't have representation. I mean, it's almost a dream. It's like if you went into court and you represented yourself, the other lawyers on the other side are going to know what to say to kind of to get what they want. It's a professional thing that people do for a living, so it really shouldn't be. You shouldn't make it your responsibility to kind of go up against them. So something that happens often is you may, if you don't know we exist, or you're like, oh, who's Health Pro, or I've never had a person represent me, you might try to negotiate with your landlord, and unbeknownst to you are giving away information that you're not going to leave, and maybe you don't even realize, but you really want us to kind of get in the fold very early, so that they know that you have representation. And one thing that Chuck, our president, would tell me is the best thing to say when they try to negotiate with you directly is that you're in a busy practice and you don't have time, and want someone to help you negotiate because you're not an expert. So they shouldn't be trying to get you to, counter proposals and come up with what the market rent should be, because you don't know what that is. Okay, so in the case of renegotiating your lease or looking at your next space, time is money. the landlord is not going to be in a rush to renew your lease. As I said in the previous slide, a high percentage of tenants prefer to extend in their current space versus move, because a lot of the times you may have already invested in that space. And the closer you get to renewal time, the less likely they know you are going to move anywhere. You'll want to negotiate and contact us within 12 to 24 months of lease expiration. And we've even negotiated earlier than that, but typically that's the time period, so 24 months or less, so we can begin the process and create some leverage for you. Market knowledge. Okay, so again, market knowledge is our best friend. Your lawyer doesn't know the market rate, your lender doesn't know the market rate, your residential agent doesn't know the market rate. Our team is doing over 100 healthcare deals in the market each year, so that's our lane, and we stay in our lane. So the roles of lawyers, brokers, contractors, CPAs, you name it, there's a time and a place for everyone so that everything gets done on time. So you should look at us, your broker, as kind of the quarterback in the transaction. We're never gonna tell you who we want you to work. Well, we'll make a recommendation, but it is ultimately up to you. We give recommendations based on our experience and based on people that also specifically work on healthcare. And sometimes we do that because communication is such a big deal, and we want people that are going to communicate well with you, so that you're in your space and the other things are, and it goes smoothly. We don't like to operate in silos. So once we know who the roles are, who the players, it's important that we all communicate. So what would happen as an example is you would have us review the lease and market terms, and then after we have that negotiated, so you're not spending a ton of money on a lawyer on an LOI when they don't know the market, then you bring in the lawyer to review after, and that's going to save you some money right away. Versus trying to get a lawyer to review everything and also negotiate the market. That would be not the best way to do it. So back what I was saying before about contacting us. Again, you want to contact us within 24 months of lease expiration. And you want to talk to us even before you really talk to the landlord. I mean, it's a natural inclination if you want to do something within the building, move somewhere, but that's a whole new deal. And I understand that you may have built a relationship and you're afraid that if you say something, you might rock the boat or they won't give you the best deal. It's just not the case, and it's really going to help you kind of see how the process should be, and overall in the end get you the deal done in the way that's less stress, less time, and at the best price. Okay, and here's something that it's important you do. I'm doing this all the time for clients as we speak. You know, sometimes I'm talking to a landlord, they might not be local. They're going to be in no rush to get a deal done, even less than 24 months. But if you say you're looking at other options, which you will be, so you're not lying, and you are seeing what is out there, compare the expenses of moving versus staying, and the location you're in. You might need to grow, you might need less space, who knows? That's something we would talk about on a conversation to kind of be an advisor in that case. But the point here is that negotiation is about leverage. It is about knowing the process, keeping people in the process at the right time, and making it easy on you to get the deal so you're comfortable all along the way. And one of the ways you get comfortable is letting us create leverage, show you some locations, tell you what the market terms are in your market. And I will say there could be drastic differences depending on, 2020 to 2021. Not only that, the overall macro trend, but the micro smaller trend, there is, you could be a block down the road and that could be a significant square foot price per square foot difference. So, but you may want to be there because it's better for your business, and we've seen that too. So our job is to kind of open up the options to you, treat you professionally, and be your go-to person when you have any kind of need that you're looking to achieve. Okay, and just as we talked about, we want you to view the market to see if there are viable relocation options and what deals are being offered in the marketplace. So many times we're going to look at multiple locations, and from looking at those multiple locations, you end up narrowing down which ones you want, and from there, you're going to kind of see what deals are coming back. Some you're going to be like, no way, okay, and what happens is, often you'll see who wants you most in a way, and they're going to be the ones that are going to give you a better deal. And even the structure of some buildings, whether you're on the first floor of an apartment building or you're in an office, you're retail, there's little nuances and things we can share that to help you get to that decision. But again, if you're going to stay in the space, this is important too, and you never know down the road if you're going to move. This information will be valuable for you to know. Oops. So the broker in the transaction, as we've mentioned, has the market knowledge of what the deal should be. Our bread and butter is going to be what is the market rent? What are the tenant improvements? And as I discussed before, tenant improvements are dependent on factors of how the space is, or if you're renewing, what you need to get the space, for improvements that might need to happen for you for the next long-term lease. The term, we'll work with you on what term is best for you and what makes the most sense. And the length of term is almost, the longer you're going to stay in a space, the longer, the more amenable the landlord will be to different concessions. And we're going to negotiate free rent. We're going to make sure you have enough parking and signage. Do you need more? Do you need visibility? How important is that to your business? So again, this is pretty clear cut, but this is really good to emphasize to you guys the roles of brokers and lawyers. We really work hand in hand with them. Like I said, we would be the first person to kind of contact, unless we're referred over from a lawyer, then we kind of, it's a little bit, it can be, sometimes a lawyer will refer over and we'll kind of go from there, look over the market terms, and the lawyer will handle the legalese of the lease or the offer. And we'll do the market deal terms, because the market is dynamic, the market is changing. We're seeing new deals. It could be a tighter market or it could be a tenant market, and it's really, there's several factors we look into whether or not a deal is fair or it needs a lot of improvement. Okay, so this is the part of Health Pro that I kind of love, and that we're so focused is we can really help you with healthcare specific knowledge from previous clients. Health Pro has been in business over 30 years. That's a lot of clients, and I always talk to Chuck and the team weekly about what's going on so that we can really give the best advice that we can. And if you a lot of commercial real estate that kind of do everything professionals, they might do one or two healthcare deals in their lifetime, and they don't focus. They kind of still take anything that's out there, and we just don't operate that way. So I love that, depending on your specialty and what we've seen, we can give you sound counsel and direct you to people we work with that can help too. So for us, it's all about helping others and doing what's right for our clients. That's the most important thing, and that's what we kind of emphasize to everybody on the team. And as a final word here, there are a lot of nuances to each practice, and a lot of people reach out with different needs. So I obviously can't cover everything essential and specific to your plan. But you may be looking at, your doctor could be looking at selling their practice, purchasing or selling property, have a lease coming up, need a second office, landlord is not playing ball. You have all these things going on. And that's part of the fun is us being able to help with that and kind of taking that stress off you and your team at the office. Thank you so much for attending. I just want to say thank you for your time today and the work you do in the healthcare arena. If you would like to learn more about what we're doing, I put our president at the top there, Charles Vitale, and his phone number. My phone number is below that with my email. And if you want to book a consultation with HPRG, you go to hprgrealty.com. You can fill out the form, and we will help you or do our best to help you. Thank you.
Thanks, Brian. This is Victoria. Thank you. I want to underscore one important point. For those of you who may have joined late, if you want to use these guys and you're on the buy side, meaning if you want to buy, lease, or rent, it costs you nothing. They'll do the heavy lifting. They'll look for office space for you. They'll negotiate on your behalf. They'll get you better terms. They'll read the fine print, and it costs you nothing. Is that right, Brian? It's on the buy side.
Yes, that's correct.
So there's no downside. If you want to go with them. I just wanted to underscore that.
Thank you, Victoria. Appreciate that.
Do we have any questions? Any questions? Quiet group. All right. Well, their information is on the slide.
Okay.
And thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you. Take care.